some of those things that you've learned along the way on some of the things you would avoid, like, is there anything that comes to mind of, I mean, I know that there's hiccups in the road, like, and we could talk about, total loss on a property, for example,
Right.
that's being rebuilt right now, but
Mhm.
are there other things that you, as you're, I mean, we always learn from our mistakes. Are there mistakes you made that you were like, man, I'd like to know that, or I'm gonna avoid that in the future? Is there something that comes to mind there?
That's a really good question. Ned probably has a different take on it, and it would be good to ask him as well. I think for me, that what you brought up about the property loss, when we bought three Florida properties, boom, 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 and then Hurricane Ian, Hurricane Helene, and Hurricane, I don't even remember, Milton,
Hmm.
um, they all hit within 2 years of each other. That was a big expense and loss of rent when we had to get things up and running again. And one of them was completely destroyed. Unfortunately, we leveled it and we're rebuilding from the ground up. So that definitely was a hit. Um,
Hmm.
Luckily, thankfully, we're in markets that bounce back.
Yeah.
And the people in the area are so good at rolling with the punches when it comes to hurricanes. It's just amazing how, we're up in Wisconsin and a hurricane hits, and you hear everybody communicating and talking in Florida, and they're like, we'll get this cleaned up. We'll come back. This is what we do, and that's been really a neat life lesson to be a part of.
Yeah.
But it probably would have been smart of us to maybe not purchase three on the south or the west side of Florida. But we love the area, and financially, it does really well with vacation rentals, obviously.
Yeah.
And the prices of the properties continue to go up in the area, even though it
Yeah.
does take those hits. So over time
How
it'll work out, I think. But
how was your guys' any lessons learned on insurance or anything you would have done different, or are you glad you actually did with insurance? I know when you go through those major events, I
yeah.
either hear one side of it, like, man, I'm so glad that I had this in place, or man, I wish I would have done this, this, and this on the insurance side.
Yeah, insurance is tough. You feel like it is a gamble, and it kind of is a gamble because there were things that we would have hoped that had been covered that weren't covered. And there are loopholes like, well, that wasn't caused by wind, that was caused
Yeah.
by flooding, that wasn't caused by flooding, that was caused by wind. And so that's really challenging. Um, and then, yeah, we just didn't have much insurance on the one that we
Yeah.
lost because it was such a little cottage, that we were like, if it takes some punches when it comes to a hurricane, we'll just fix it. It was a
Yeah.
concrete build. It needed to have some updates anyway. Electrical was getting old, things like that. And so we were like, we'll just take it as it comes, not realizing that we could potentially have a complete loss.
Right.
So you live and learn a little bit, but
Right.
yeah.
And it's, and that's, I appreciate you sharing that. Cause I didn't know the answer to that. Cause I
Hmm.
always hear, like, we've had, over the years, obviously with thousands of properties within our Vodyssey family, we've had a number of total losses between hurricanes, fires, different things that end up being total losses. And in the right insurance and having different things in insurance and learning, and down in the hurricane areas, you're exactly right. There's always the insurance companies like, that was wind, that was flooding, that wasn't this, that was that,
Hmm.
and all those different conversations. It can be a little tricky, right? And so you're like, the other thing is like in our world with short-term rentals, you can insure loss of rents, but that gets really expensive if you
Right.
start doing that, right? And so you're saying, okay, how much should I actually insure there? Obviously, to your point, it's a it's a bit of a gamble because you don't know if you're going to ever have a total loss or how long you're going to be out. These areas do recover fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me in certain areas that get completely decimated, how long does it take to recover? And I said, well, in a lot of areas, it might be a couple year build back. It's usually about a 2-year build back is what I say about on average for these areas to get completely kind of rebuilt.
At least when Hurricane Ian hit, that was our first hurricane experience. And the realtor who lives on the island had been through Hurricane Charlie. I don't know what year that was, but it was another major one. He said it's 5 years.
Is it 5? Yeah. Yeah. So,
but that's also on an island that that you can't get to by road. So everything's having to be boated over, but we're talking foliage and stuff like that too. It takes a while for things to really come back, but we were incredibly lucky that we got our 2 on North Captiva Island up and running again post hurricanes much more quickly than the majority of homeowners. So we were really fortunate with that. And people still wanted to get down there. Yeah. I was like, there isn't even greenery. Like, it's just not paradise right now. But people wanted to vacation and they wanted to support the community that they knew and they loved. And so it's been a really neat experience. Yeah,
that's fun. And you also have a combination of some for the loss of vacationers, which I've always felt the same way. Like most of these markets, the people still want to come and the people are still going to come. And especially the repeat customers that go there on a regular basis, they want to really support the community. They want to support the rebuild and do what they can. But you also have contractors coming in and new people coming in that are trying to do the rebuild. And so you have this different guest avatar that now is having to come in because they're part of the rebuild process as well. Yeah. So
It's
a lot of times
experience.